This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight, Grand Bahama records its third murder for the year. Plus, members of the Rastafarian community discuss the benefits of medical marijuana and find out what changes are ahead for the national flag carrier.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles. Topping news tonight. 2 men are assisting police with their investigations into a shooting incident that has left a man dead on Grand Bahama last night. Police say it was shortly after 11 p.m. Saturday when they were called to the shopping plaza on Seahorse Road. That's where they found a man who was shot multiple times. EMS personnel were also called to the scene. They later pronounced the victim dead. Only 7 days into the new year, and there have already been 3 murders, all happening on Grand Bahama. On Thursday, 2 men entered a business establishment on West Mall Drive, shot a man, and fled the scene. The victim pursued his attackers into a parking lot where he collapsed and died. The first murder for the year happened on New Year's night when a man was found shot to death on Gladstone Terrace. In other news tonight, with the debate on marijuana legalization heating up, members of the Rastafarian community are touting the medicinal benefits of the plant. Our Jared Higgs has more.
Rascoan Cecil often uses plants to create healing drinks. One plant that he hasn't been able to legally make his natural drinks with is marijuana. Cecil says that's disappointing, especially with the science behind the plant.
When it comes down to the way in which how we look at the medicinal part of it, automatically we have studies out there that shows cannabis have a lot of medicinal values, even when it comes down to how your body works with something called cannabinoid receptors. Every human, whether we like it or not, we are implanted with these cannabinoid receptors. That's why someone smoked in an enclosed room, eventually the person that don't smoke would also experience something. Whether we like it or not, Christian or not, Muslim, anything.
A more senior member of the community, priest Rickman McKinney, says marijuana isn't only their religious sacrament, but many believe and swear by marijuana as a medicine.
Naturally, we use the Indian hemp as part of our sacrament also, and also heal persons with gallstone, persons who have stomach problem. Because myself have experience where I give people healing from the marijuana plant by drinking it.
Ian Mora, also known as Bongo Ian, speaks of those same medicinal benefits. He says he has his own concerns, though.
They seem to be trying to separate it from what people would have, the average, what people would have been using, and trying to say some special strain. And so that now doesn't help everyone. That only helps those who are in the medical field who would be dealing with that specific strain. We have individuals who may not be doctors, but they've been dealing with it for such a long time, and they have PhD level information with regards to its uses and how to handle it. I would hate to see that we have a formal discussion, and because those people don't have letters behind their names, they're excluded from the whole dialogue.
29 states in America have legalized or passed measures legalizing marijuana for medicinal purposes. Reporting for our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, thanks, Jared. And from the financial sector tonight, as Royal Bank of Canada last week defended its move to digital services, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce is supporting the move, but with one caveat. Our Christina Dragovich tells us more.
As the number of traditional services now available at our fingertips increases daily, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation is reminding Bahamian businesses of the digital divide that impacts Family Island residents. In an interview with our News, Chamber Chairman Mike Mora said he hopes the recent digital changes will not have a negative impact on Family Island residents.
What is the plan there? And you talk about those communities that are so dependent on banking. I think that we need to make sure that the government, as well as our commercial banking sector, are walking step for step and holding hands along this journey, you know, as opposed to, you know, a very significant, important, valuable business stakeholder in these communities kind of going it alone and just letting government, you know, and the Bahamian people having to catch up with the decision they've made.
RBC head of business banking for the North Caribbean recently told Our News that the institution is not trying to upset its customers with the new digital rollout. As of January 2nd, deposits and transfers to other RBC client accounts will no longer be accepted in branch, with the exception of RBC FinCo clients. Later this month, fast deposit will no longer be available, while the processing of wire transfers will also be discontinued in branch. Both services will operate on digital platforms such as RBC's mobile application. Morris says while the app may be designed to improve service for customers, Family Island customers may be at a disadvantage.
RBC still has some work to do around that, and I hope they recognize it, and I hope that they're prepared to put the resources in to making it happen, because, you know, here I am in Nassau. You know, I've got the benefits of both Alive and BTC from a technology and internet perspective.
Morris says he has personally tried the services and understands concerns other customers have.
And I, you know, as a RBC customer, as well as the chairman of the chamber, you know, I said, hey, let me give it a shot myself. And, you know, I will say that now that I have RBC mobile app on my phone, I will tell you it is easier for me. The path to get there, however, was not easy.
Despite those concerns, RBC says there are approximately 60,000 customers now using the app. Reporting for Our News, I'm Christina Dragovich.
Major changes on tap for the country's national flag carrier, Bahamasair. Carl Joaquin sat down with the airline's chairman and tells us more.
There are definitely some changes that need to take place at Bahamasair.
According to Bahamasair chairman Tommy Turnquest, the national flag carrier makes between $80 to $90 million in revenue per year. But the airline has still never made a profit, as some 42% of its revenue goes to pay a staff complement said to be far above the industry average of 20 to 25%. Turnquest didn't speak of staff cutbacks, but he said a lot has to change.
The management team is really focused on trying to improve the financials of Bahamasair. I think that their heads are in the right place. I will support them. The board will support them. But, you know, it's not going to be business as usual. There's going to be some accountability, and we want to make sure that the people of the Bahamas are well served.
As for whether he sees Bahamasair becoming profitable in the near future, Turnquest said, of course.
The answer is definitely yes. Definitely yes.
Profitable?
Yes. Bahamasair could, in my view, determine that with its 8 aircraft, this is the schedule it's going to run. It's going to have some elasticity in its schedule that, you know, it could compensate for a little downtime here or there. And it could make money.
But again, it's all in the configuration of its schedule. Bahamasair has 8 aircraft, 3 jets and 5 ATRs, and services many of the Bahama Islands, as well as international flights including Cape Haitian and Houston, Texas. Turnquest said he also wants to change the narrative that Bahamasair is always late. Bahamasair, he said, continues to face too many challenges.
One of the major challenges for Bahamasair is Bahamasair incurred a loan of $120 million to acquire the 5 new ATRs. I want to be fair. All of that didn't relate to the ATRs because it refinanced existing debt. So we understand part of it was to the refinance. But the 5 aircraft cost around $90 million. And so the expenses associated with the obtaining of that $120 million loan was very, very high. It now results in Bahamasair having to find $6 million a quarter, which is $24 million a year, which is in addition to the $14 million subvention.
Despite the financial challenges, Turnquest said employees at the airline do a good job. As for the many changes, he says Bahamans will begin to see some of them take effect sometime this year. For our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Well, we'll take a break here, but still ahead tonight. What's the latest from that audit on last year's Drunken Carnival? Plus, find out what members of the Christian Council had to say on government's decision to not fund the 2018 Drunken Carnival.